Welcome to this episode of YouTube where Aidan and Denali reached 3 years of age on April 27th and are showing a lot of, again, good associative behavior, and you can see a little bit of a wrestling match here and also what we call some grooming behavior, and that's Denali on top, Aidan on the bottom. And one thing to notice is Aidan's, again, his posture is very relaxed. You'll see his tail is relaxed. He's obviously doing a little bit of inhibited biting there and kind of grabbing at Denali while Denali's grooming him, but inhibited biting basically means it's holding back. He's not really doing a hard muzzle bite. It's much more of a soft grab, and certainly this is very common social behavior. The other thing you'll notice is that he paws up towards Denali and actually a couple times actually grabs him and pulls Denali towards him, and so that's again another appeasing behavior, or another behavior that he's seeking that contact. So this is pretty common interaction. Denali is showing a lot more dominance, and certainly I think we saw a period where Aidan was gaining some rank, and then with the loss of Maya, he probably lost some confidence, and now Denali's pretty much showing dominance over him. But it's really subdued. It's not a real intense kind of rank order situation with the two of them. And we have had a situation with just two wolves in the past. We did have Shadow and Malik, who were the only wolves on exhibit, actually from August 2002 until May of 2004, actually August of 2004, when Grizzer and Maya and Nisa joined Shadow Malik. So for Shadow and Malik, it was almost 2 years. For Aidan and Denali, the exhibit will contain just two wolves until August of 2012, when the new pups are introduced, and then we'll go up to an exhibit of 4. So we will see some, less stimulating behavior. Certainly, dynamics of 4 or 5 or 6 wolves is more stimulating than 2, especially when the two are getting along fairly well. You may still see wrestling bouts like this because they're young, but for the most part, they're going to be pretty compatible, and that means there's going to be not a lot of conflict, and the behaviors may be a little less stimulating. So what we'll do this summer is we will do enclosure enrichments, which we normally do during the summer, 4 days a week. We've now increased them to 7 days a week. So from mid-June till mid-August, we'll be doing some stimulations 7 days a week to make sure that we address the psychological needs of these two individuals and make sure that everything's compatible, and that they have some stimulus to redirect some of their energy. But like I say, this is normal behavior. As a matter of fact, I see the same behavior in my dogs when it comes to just socially interacting, wrestling. This is behavior we see from pups, and this is behavior that is characteristic of young individuals. And one of the other things I want to point out, you'll see that it kind of goes back and forth, and where sometimes Denali's on top and sometimes Aidan, but it is primarily Denali. Denali also is demonstrating here one of the benefits of straw. As the spring weather melts, the straw insulates the ground, and there's actually solid ice underneath that straw, and so that makes for a cool place to lay on these warm spring days. And the warmth of spring is complicated by the fact that they have not started shedding. Very little evidence of shed coming out, and that's typically not going to be something that we see until maybe the last week of May or into June, when we start seeing shedding. So these straw areas are real beneficial to keeping them cool, because again they are compacted ice and snow underneath it, whereas everything is melted off. The Working for Wolves crew that is going to come here next weekend will be taking some of that straw to again help clean up the enclosure and to get some of that snow and ice uncovered. The other priority that we have is to get the pond up and running and functioning. We also hope to put a roof on the medical enclosure, and we have some wood visibility panels for Grizzer's enclosure that we're going to be staining, and we'll be trying to work on Grizzer's new enclosure, although we have to, again, be cognitive of how Grizzer's dealing with that. We certainly want to do this enclosure as quickly as we can with as many people as we can, but certainly if Grizzer's having some issues with people behind him or in such close proximity to him, we will hold off on that with a large group and do that primarily with wolf care staff, where he feels a lot more relaxed. So anytime we do wolf work or working for wolves program around the wolf yard, we always have to be tolerant of how the wolves are going to react and how they're going to respond to that kind of activity. So we'll kind of keep you posted. If you are coming for working for wolves, that's no surprise. If you've been a repeat visitor, the wolves always dictate how we do things and what we do, but we certainly hope that we can get a little bit of accomplishment next weekend and get ourselves on the way of giving Grizzer a little bit more habitat. And you'll see, again, the Aidan and Denali are pretty tolerant of a lot of work going on around their enclosure, but again, we want to make sure that we don't affect their dynamics, because as you can see here, they're very relaxed and they're very social and greeting each other. You add a little stress to that and they can and will redirect to each other, so that's something to kind of keep an eye on. In Grizzer's enclosure, we've been noticing a little bit of digging. He's trying to cool himself off. He does not have a pond or anything to cool himself off, although I'm contemplating putting in kind of a Rubbermaid tub there for him, just to at least paw it. He's been pawing at his drinking water, so we know that he wants some water to cool himself, not just for drinking, but to cool himself. So that's a possibility that we will try to incorporate it in his new habitat. But most of the time, again, he continues to focus over at retirement. He is getting chicken on a daily basis, and this is a little bit of a treat here. Here's some turkey wings, which he's really enjoys, and so we will continue to maintain him on a daily basis. Part of it is because we want to give him, again, something to preoccupy, occupy his time, and give Wolf Care staff some one-on-one with him that's pretty positive. So that's what's going on in Grizzer's enclosure. Over in retirement, we are getting ready for the medical exam. Probably will be upcoming in the next 2 weeks. Right now, the conditions are right, meaning we've got the ice and snow gone for animals recovering from immobilization when they're a little unstable. But we want to, again, make sure that it's timed appropriately, that we've got plenty of Wolf Care staff available for long-term monitoring and making sure everything's okay. But so far, we anticipate there'll be no issues with the exam, but they are old, and going on 11 years old on May 8th, and that's an age issue. So we'll kind of keep that in mind. But that's about it from Wolf Care. And again, thanks for watching, and we'll keep you posted how the Working for Wolves weekend goes next weekend. Thank you.